Ah, you're just in time. Maria's awake. She's not hurt too badly, but she's locked up in her room and won't come out.
Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. Last time, well, I mean, on the plus side, Hulkenberg is awakened. On the other side, Maria, we're gonna have to tell her that, her dad's dead and we just killed his zombie form.
I told her that her father wouldn't be coming home.
Oh, okay, no, you already did that. Right, yeah, probably better you breaking the news to her.
So she knows.
Oh, I should say, I found a note in his belongings. Meant for you all, I'm sure. It said, if there's anything left that could serve you, take it. I left his belongings in his room, so you're free to have a look.
I do like when games justify why you get all of a dead party member's equipment back afterwards.
Now that you're here, I'll go check on her one more time. Try to rest, and I'll be back shortly.
Also, Hulkenberg probably needs medical attention.
Damn you, Louise.
She took a pretty big slash across her chest.
Can I assume you're still dedicated to the mission?
Mission?
Killing Louise to lift the prince's curse. We've lost a lot already. We can't afford to give up after one failure.
Don't worry. I've no intention of giving up now.
What do you think? Are you going after Louise?
Yeah, this is actually really interesting that you can choose this option. But I'm gonna go with this.
Of course I am.
Yes. Someone has to bring the bastard to justice. You saw what would happen under his rule. We can't just let him doom this country.
And he's pretty much straight up admitted that he's in a full-on, if you don't vote for me, you'll die mentality, so country under him would definitely not be a good place.
Thus do you seek Louise's death? Knowing the truth, may I join your cause? I heard of your trials at the fort, and considering all I've seen and heard, Louise clearly aims to seize the throne. Allow me to lend my blade. Even if we can put the man down, if we can't save the heir to the throne, it would be all for naught. Until the day His Highness, the prince's life is saved. I will fight through all obstacles.
We'd be happy to have you. But
It is but another leg on my own long journey, and now I may travel in good company. What say you?
Well, it would be a massive waste if she, we just refused her after she awakened to her archetype.
We'd welcome you, gladly.
Truly. Thank you. I shall strive to protect you, as you saved me.
Seems a bit redundant to say after all you've done for us, but we're glad to have you.
I do like how the game doesn't really waste that much time in giving you your initial two party members. Hulkenberg joins pretty quickly after you meet her.
Leave it to me.
And there she is! And I've already given her bio because it would have been more dramatic to do it earlier.
Then let us be bound in both purpose and trust. My life is your shield, and my blade is your strength.
The steadfast vassal, Hulkenberg. Within her dwells the virtue of the knight. Nurture thy bond with her, and a new power yet slumbering within thee may awaken.
I would stake my very life upon it.
oh, now that she's part of the team, we ought to show her. Here. This is the prince. He's been asleep for a long, long time.
His Royal Highness.
He's stable. But unless we can do something about that curse, he's finished.
That mage could be the key to this. I couldn't guess what he aims to accomplish, but if we can capture him, he could lead us straight to Louise.
Doubtless he seeks the royal scepter. 'Tis enshrined in a chamber in the cathedral under a powerful warding seal. Such magic would likely take days of concentration to dispel, even with powers to do so.
You figure that's why he said we've got until the mourning period ends? If it's true, we still have some days until the mourning ends. Leaves us a little time to spare.
And yeah, we're about to get into the actual time management system of this game.
What did he mean when he told us to wait for the day of calamity? Just an ominous name for the day he grabs the scepter?
That mostly exists. They have a dramatic deadline to have looming over your head.
He can tell us himself at the end of a sword. The innkeeper's given her blessing, so we'll use this place as our headquarters for now.
Yeah, probably for the best. It's already gotten late today, so let's reconvene here tomorrow. Do you feel responsible for Grius and Maria?
Of course I do.
That's not your burden to bear alone, okay? I don't make much of a guide, do I? I can't even get proper directions. God, I wish I wasn't so useless.
You're the one who's gotten us this far, Gallica.
You think so? Well, it's nice of you to say. My grief is getting the better of me. But I've got to shape up. Grius gave his life for that mission. We can't let him down. Let's figure it out as a team, all right? I'll do whatever I can. Gotta focus on the here and now, not the past.
And so we have our second rank up for Gallica. And now I can talk about this. Hey, our first bond well, not exactly. Gallica's bond is similar to the full social link in most Persona games. It automatically ranks up over the course of the story. And that's actually a big drawback for the mage line. All bonds unlock the higher tiers of their corresponding archetype. But Gallica's doesn't max out and unlock Elemental Master and Warlock until the start of the game's final arc, leaving you a bit high and dry if you're going for a mage build. Especially as it will also hamstring the inheritance slots of the mage archetype, and the cost to give it to party members, as in higher ranks of every archetype bond, you'll unlock more of these slots and will cheapen the cost of study. But every bond also has its own unique benefits. Gallica's are mostly focused on improving the UI and quality of life elements she already provides. At rank 2, you'll be notified as to who's available every day. At rank 3, you get more detailed analysis of enemies in combat. At rank 4, Phase Sight will display more. But her max rank ability is arguably the most useful. Again, you won't have this until the final arc though. Once you have it, there is a 31% chance, yes this is true, people have tested it, for Gallica to give you 2 extra turn icons at the start of your turn. The way this works is it's rolled for every turn until you get it, but once you do, it goes on an invisible cooldown for 6 to 9 turns before it has a chance to trigger again. I wish Gallica contributed to fights in more ways than just this, but 2 extra turns is really nice when you get it, especially in important fights.
Well, you should get some rest tonight in preparation for tomorrow. Let's rest.
Here's the nighttime theme for Grand Trad.
Let's rest.
As usual, always make sure to triangle Gallica if you want that achievement. You are free to head downstairs at the inn, though there's not a whole lot to do here, just talking to your other party members. Now I can give my thoughts on what just happened to Grius. He was giving out death flags all over the place. It was pretty obvious he wasn't going to make it. But I did want to try and make things a little bit of a surprise by not going over ultimate archetype requirements because, you know, not spoiling the fact that he doesn't have one. I'll talk about Stroll's ultimate archetype requirements once we next get into a dungeon. How about that? Then I'll talk about the synthesis skills of Mage, Seeker, and Warrior, because they are something special, especially Warrior. Also Mage. Mage's synthesis is pretty good too. Seekers have good animations, but not as great as the other two. Yeah, I had a feeling, because the date wasn't directly rolling over, we were gonna get something like this.
Really? What exactly do you have against sleep?
I like how Gallica's echoing how a lot of Persona players feel about Igor and P5. Apparently, we've been invited to Academia. Also, Cat. I love the fact that Cat's just staring at us.
I saw it all unfold. An ally became a friend, and he awakened to your power. But his path was cut short.
That's the other red flag, the fact that he didn't give us an archetype specifically. We just had to give him Mage because Gallica gave us that.
It is all too easy to forget the fragility of life, until the tragedy of its loss.
That is honestly very true.
Yet, I feel his efforts were not in vain. He never turned from his fears and worries, unflinching to the last. Just as the lives of old heroes are passed down through their tales, so too will his heart. You have inherited the story of an unsung revolutionary and all its power.
And when I said that Grius' equipment is still given back to you even though he dies, yeah, don't worry about giving Grius every archetype you have access to. All of the mag you spent on him will be refunded.
Yet be warned, such power rarely awakens without trials. Even should you overcome them, your virtues will be tested, time and time again. You must carry on, honing your archetypes and heart with painful sincerity. That is the first step towards changing the world. I have faith in you.
I already explained these, but yeah, they're basically like rare candies for archetypes.
Forgive me. There's one more important thing. You can visit as long as you have the calm and time to open a book. But when threats lurk nearby, we may not always have the luxury of attention undivided. And danger is an inconvenience so often encountered, of course. As such. A smart-looking fellow, isn't he? There's a special magic igniter embedded in his collar, too. Much as I'd like to join you in person, I cannot. I can, however, send his consciousness in my place. If you see him in places of battle, do stop to pet him, won't you? You'll find him a most helpful companion.
Yes, we are in fact encouraged to pet the cat. It shall help us in our battles to come.
If you would survive the trials to come, think not only of the powers you know, but how they might be combined. Now, until we meet again.
How they might be combined, huh? Well, warrior plus warrior plus warrior equals... evil Scotsman, apparently. No, equals Peerless Stonecleaver. And I've got one with your name on it, by the way.
No matter.
Well, he's certainly a pleasant fellow.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Okay, that line! You're gonna get very used to that line. That line will be burned into your brain by the time this game is over.
Sorry.
Oh, I love the Grand Trap theme so much! Just so glad that we finally get to hear this in full. It's like, this town is horrible and racist, but I love being here entirely for this music.
I'd say...
And yeah, as always, protagonist gives the orders because, you know.
All good.
Just a way to justify all the party members being able to be manually controlled. This isn't Persona 3 PS2 after all. I know a lot of people like tactic systems like Persona 3 the original, but I was never a huge stan of that. Granted, the majority of the Atlas YouTubers who do stan the P3 tactic system are massive fans of Metaphor, so...
For real.
Yeah, this game does have a very good tactical combat system.
Now then.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, we go back to the cathedral whenever we choose to. But until then, it is time for us
Let's focus.
to prepare and focus, like he said. Our deadline is the 21st, 10 days left. We now have a mission with a deadline. The Catacomb entrance is our dungeon entrance point. We get a game over if we don't defeat the Necromancer before the Day of Calamity. But we have a whole bunch of things to do. We have one activity per day and one per night. Unfortunately, just like in mainline Persona right now, after 3, dungeons are visited in the day, which means that you use up your entire nighttime. And in this game, dungeons aren't just the main ones. In fact, we'll discover that quite shortly. But in the day, we can hone our royal virtues, do side quests, which don't use up time for the most part, and visit our followers. Raising your royal virtues is very important because that's the main way that follower bonds are locked out in this game, not by any kind of social points. And yes, I love this. Any activity that uses time is marked with a clock symbol. It's like, some people are kind of bothered by the fact that a more traditional Atlas RPG like this has a Persona-style time management system. They really, really refined this the best they could. Like, everything, quality of life about what exactly spends time is pointed out to you. And the main thing as well is that these segments are very well paced. As you can tell, we only have a 10-day deadline for this current dungeon. And it is quite a long dungeon. You might need to split it over multiple days. So be prepared to spend multiple days on this one. But there are other things we can do in town, and they will help us then. There is, in fact, another follower archetype that we can unlock that might prove helpful in the battles ahead. But doing so requires visiting an optional dungeon that is more difficult than the Grand Cathedral, so there's a trade-off there.
Give it a shot.
However, we've now unlocked the Sword Board. Press circle to hop on your blade and quickly ride through the area.
We should go.
Please add Will to Sonic Racing Crossworlds and make this an Extreme gear. That would be amazing. But yeah, we now have a sword skateboard. There is an achievement for riding this for a certain amount of distance, so you might want to do this as much as possible. So already in this first area, we have an exclamation mark above somebody's head.
Single good option here.
So we need to buy medicine that this guy's sick daughter needs. And it costs more than what a racial minority in this city is able to earn.
Yeah.
But we have a decent money-making scheme in the form of beating up undead. I really hope that I actually have enough to afford this. I was spending it on ingredients for a certain other side quest that we'll be able to get soon. Breath of fresh air. They sell it at the church. Well, good thing that you're mentioning the church, because I wanted to check that place out anyway. It's an important facility to mention in preparing for battle.
If so...
That's back on the main street. So this is our quest, Pagan's Dilemma. The reward is not only an item, but we get an increase to our tolerance stat. Tolerance is required for Maria's bond, mainly right now, and Maria has some very strong bond effects, so you will want to raise tolerance. So some of them are time limits. I'm gonna be going for every single quest in this game. So yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid those deadlines. Now, that guy there's an informant. I'll talk about him later as he's more relevant to stuff we'll be seeing later on. Now, there's a guy over here, a masked man we can talk to also get an increase in our tolerance, but it will use up the entire day. Over there is more. That won't use up any time. And hello there, Mr. Executioner. No, I wouldn't want to, you know, take on that. Man in pain, huh? Well, this guy's doubled over, it looks like. I think I happen to have an herb on me. Let's give it.
But you saved me.
That's not registered as an official side quest, though. Oh, look, it's the soon-to-be racist child. Let's see. I actually want to try and translate that graffiti on the wall and see what it means. Yeah. Somebody needs to change this city, but it's probably not going to be Luis. As for what else there is for us to do in this area, we do have an activist woman here, who will increase another of our royal virtues. In fact, if we press square, we can see what all these are and how we are at all of them. Yes, I like how they all, like, make a crown. So we are currently a craven, naive, inflexible, tongue-tied, vapid thing. So yeah, that stat there, that is eloquence. We don't have any follower bonds that require eloquence at this point.
That reminds me.
Oh yeah, by talking to Gallica in areas, you can get like a rundown of a lot of things that you can potentially do with your time. Also, you can look at travelers' voices to find out what people did today. So, 31% went to the Regolith Grand Cathedral or the Belega Corridor. What's that? 69% spent time in town. And one thing to mention is the recruitment center. If you didn't get the gold beetle here before, you can try and go for it now. But we can also check on the bulletin board for wanted posters. First place is someone named Katharina. Huh. So, let's go ahead and warp back to Sunlumio Street, because we're heading for the church. So over here is the Chatty Elder. They're going to increase our, that would be, imagination. Another stat that isn't, like, hugely useful to us just yet. But one that will be insanely useful to us later on. I believe imagination is required for my favorite follower bond in the game. So, if we go to the church here and talk to this guy.
Excuse me.
We're able to buy the breath of fresh air. We have to pay 500 for it. But as much as it is encouraging their racism, is the only way we can actually get this. So, well, we've got more than enough money for it. There are also other things that we can buy here, though. We can buy items that cure certain ailments. Or we can buy balms of life, but they are fairly expensive. If you go to Purify, though, you need more wisdom for this. And that is a stat that I recommend working on as soon as possible. That and tolerance. Because the ability to purify equipment is very, very useful to have. Mostly because of that dragon sword we got. Okay. Understand one thing. I hate this church. And not for the reasons you think. The reason why I hate this church is, see here, I am right at the wall. The door is right there. It won't let me open it. I have to spin the camera around so the church door is on screen before it will let me press the X button to leave. I don't know why, but that bothers me to no end. It's extremely irritating, and I will rant about it right now. Yeah, that church sucks. Speaking of things that don't suck, though, here's the Igniter Merchantess. We met you earlier. Ah, you're already very well informed. But you have an exclamation mark above your head, and that means I would like to talk to you.
What?
Yes.
Colleague Grius would have the skill and discretion required. This sounds like a, fighting-related request. Ah. But we're not able to talk to her without increasing our royal virtues. So, in that case, we need 2 wisdom. And we don't have that right now. And Gallica will tell us if there are ways to increase our wisdom. But over here, we can actually look out at the scenery and get a boost in wisdom from that. In fact, if we check the map here, we can see where we can access those royal virtues. But there's also another side quest that we can pick up in the area. Let's go with the pigeons.
Grand, isn't it?
Okay. So yeah, that's a stereotype of the Nydia in this world. But yeah, we need to do that whole cooking thing for him. And tell him what the experience was like. Well, good news is that place just happens to be our headquarters. And this one has a deadline. At least there's a justified reason for it. So let's do that.
Thank you much.
I know that a necromancer is about to unleash an apocalypse on the city, but it's fine. We can help this guy get a job as a chef. So, as you might be able to tell, this is the reason why I bought those ingredients back before the royal funeral. And the increase in wisdom is extremely important, especially since finishing this quest and turning it in will not take time. However, we do need to actually cook the meal at Honeybee Inn at night. So that is going to delay us in finishing that quest. Oh yeah, also the church is now added as a fast travel location.
I'm just incredulous.
I am too. What does incredulous mean again? I'm just joking. Incredulous means, like, hard to believe. Or, like, yeah, you're in shock because something happened that seems very unbelievable. So, now the herb cellar is available. Can't sell them, okay. Just gotta go to limited stop and only sell to regulars. Well, we'll have to do something about that one later. What we can do now is warp to the Hushed Honeybee Inn, because, as you might have been able to see for a tiny flicker, is that quests you can turn in are marked in gold.
What's happened?
You there? Thank you so very much.
Hey, no.
I mean, we got discriminated against too, but we did at least manage to buy it for you.
You there?
I mean, we're lucky that we even were allowed to buy this at all.
Mission accomplished.
So, not only do we get a rusted accessory, we also get an increase to our tolerance.
Within thee, that brilliance. Now then.
Yes, indeed. Within thee, that brilliance, now then. As for courage, don't worry too much about that one. That's arguably the easiest stat to increase. We'll be doing that when we just take on bounty side quests, but those aren't available now. And this is the kind of thing that you can get appraised at a shop, or as I used to say when I was a kid playing Zelda Oracle of Ages, appraised at a shop. May our divine relic bless you, huh? Having played this game before already, I know what he's referring to, but as for all of you who are blind in this game, you'll find out later.
Come to think of it.
So yeah, any shop attendant will be able to appraise these,
Hey,
turning them into usable items, though it is random what you get. And it became a Squire's Bracelet, plus 3 strength. That's not bad. Okay, yeah, that one's probably better on Hulkenberg. Let's give you the Guard's Talisman. Okay, yeah, right now Hulkenberg only has Knight. I should probably spend some of my Grius refunded mag to give her some more stuff, but that's not going to be needed for a little bit. But really, the only thing left to do today is to check on the view of the royal capital here. I actually think this is true. Sometimes just getting out in the world and just seeing people walking about really can broaden your horizons, especially if you're chronically online. I recommend anybody who's just stuck in like all these endless cycles of doom scrolling, just get out, just see the world, just walk around.
whoa.
Even in a big city, you'll be surprised at how good that is for you. Oh, yeah, though, that actually does remind me of the one time that I was in Paris, and while I do like the city, one thing I did notice is that you see a lot of black people in more, let's just say, menial positions, like taxi drivers or waitstaff at restaurants. It was kind of surreal to see.
Listen.
Well?
Alright.
So this gives us a slight bonus to wisdom. Each of the royal virtues actually requires a different number of points to rank up. It's ultimately not that important to know, but I'll put them on screen regardless. So now we have nighttime. Some followers are only available at night, and unlike a lot of Persona games, there are a lot of nighttime followers in this game. You usually will not have any empty nights for the most part. That does actually mean, though, that you do max out followers pretty quickly in this game. Yeah, something that I actually haven't mentioned yet is that you might be wondering what guide I'm following for maxing all the followers. The answer is, I'm not actually following one, because you don't need one in this game. This game is very, very generous with free time. So you really don't need a guide to max everyone. There's a lot of player expression in which archetypes they choose to max out, and when. It's more about the order in which you max things than what you max. Because maxing different bonds at different times will give you access to different archetypes at different times. Speaking of access, we can now access the magic shop here.
Incredible.
Yeah, this place is kind of a black market type facility. So here we can buy stuff like items that deal damage to an enemy. A Thunderstone, we can evolve our Pikachus. We can also buy light attack items, which are going to be very useful because there's a lot of undead in the cathedral. Or we can buy some insanely expensive... Remember what I was saying? There might be a way to make the guard command cost less. This is that way. Very expensive at this point, though. And the Phantasmal Doll is really interesting. It lets you act twice in a row at the cost of 2 turn icons. Honestly, I don't like this as much as you'd probably think. It really messes with the turn order of the rest of your party, having one person consuming 2 press turns. But we can also get things like Prevent Poison, Paralysis, Hex, Daze, Prevent Forget, Prevent Sleep, and that's all. I really wish we had a Prevent Frostbite item buyable, because that's going to be really, really useful for a certain boss fight later in the game. You probably all know what I'm referring to if you played this.
Alright then.
But we're at the Grand Cathedral, there's not much there besides the rock, and if we check San Lumio Street, we still have access to the Imagination and Wisdom one. But right now we want the Honeybee Inn, because not only will we be able to make progress in that quest that we just picked up, but we'll also get ourselves some more tolerance. Even though this game is not nearly as punishing as Persona when it comes to time management, I would still recommend you save frequently during daily life, because some activities have choices that increase the rewards you get from them, like this one. If you have the ingredients, I can show you how to make red grass roasted beeto.
That reminds me.
So if we save this, I believe we won't actually be able to do it because we need the spice for that, and we're not able to buy that right now since the spice shop only sells to regulars. But yes, let's help with the cooking.
Next up is... Then...
Cockatoo Woolly Cloud Omelette.
Let's try this.
Whoa.
Will sounds like he knows what he's doing, so I hope that was good.
Next up is... Oh, right!
Okay, so, good thing that I saved, this is actually randomized, and that would explain why the guide to these responses I was looking at online got this one wrong. The answer for this one is grated in and simmer.
In that case.
Whoa.
That does seem pretty logical.
I knew it!
If you get this wrong, they'll basically say the customer's disappointed. And you'll only get 2 points of tolerance, but if you did it right, you'll get 3. But doing that is the only requirement to fulfilling this request.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
I told you'd be hearing this a lot. So, normally I would be doing the dungeon as soon as possible. And you might be wondering why I'm not. The answer may surprise you. It's because of the most jerkishly hidden missable memorandum entry in the game.
Right.
In order to get this memorandum entry, which so many people have not even got, like, I know some massive fans of this game who don't even know this one exists. In order to get this entry, and thank you to the guidebook for telling me this, you need to talk to an NPC who only appears on a rainy night in Grand Trad before defeating the Necromancer. The first rainy night is the 15th, so I can't finish this dungeon until then. Very weird, I know, but it's true. So with that, I can turn this quest in. Just as long as you make sure to not whisk the eggs. Doing that is a bad idea, but chopping up the fruit and simmering with the fish is a good idea. You're on your own with the other 3 dishes there. I did not get those randomly.
What in the blazes?
Mission accomplished.
Those Magla pills will be good too. We get a bit of money, and more importantly, we get 4 more wisdom, which takes us up to wisdom rank 2, which, that came at a very convenient time. For 2 reasons.
Why, that's...
What on earth are you doing?
Well, what on earth are you talking about? We're talking about wisdom. At least we got that wisdom out of the bargain. I suppose knowing about the prejudices of your country is, sadly, a form of gaining wisdom. But not only can we talk to the Igniter proprietress, but we can also now get things purified at the church.
Closure. Let us share our faith.
The Foreman's Jacket, as we found out earlier, can be purified to give us more defense and reduce the damage from being hit by your weakness. This means that being hit with a weakness will mean you only take the damage equivalent to a normal attack, but you will still give the enemy an extra press turn. The main thing that I was looking for here is Dragon's Judgment. A very big boost to damage, and normal attacks become fire affinity, which is more useful for enemies that are resistant to slash than it is for ones that are weak to fire. But does mean that we can hit fire weaknesses without using any MP. This is the main reason why you want to defeat the dragon in the mines. Oh, I can actually afford to, and also have enough blessed water to make this too. Let's go for it, because where we're going to be needing some good equipment. So yeah, let's go for the Foreman's Jacket. Well, I mean, I suppose Hulkenberg should take the better defense.
Indeed.
She agrees with me. Before I accept that woman's offer, though, I do want to check out this place, just in case there's some better stuff. You will not want staves here. You'll mostly want great swords and lances. Especially lances. Do I have random enemy drops that I can sell? Holy moly, I have a lot of money to spend now.
Now then,
That is good, because I could really use one of these. We will be able to pick up some better equipment in the dungeons that are upcoming, but it wouldn't hurt to have a better lance on the Knight archetype now. And, well, that will always be useful if I want to use 2 warriors, which I probably do. So let's take an Iron Greatsword. Or no, hang on, I need to pronounce this correctly. Iron Grutzard. I wonder why shops will be selling fist weapons. It's not like we'll be getting an archetype for that soon or anything. I wonder if it's actually possible to have 50,000 gold at this point. Well, Reeve is the currency of this world. But it would be funny if you could just grab this and just sweep a lot of the early game by virtue of being rich. Maybe that's a social commentary on Grand Trad. I'm just wondering, I don't think I'm gonna go for Seeker. But let's see if I can get some better armor. Oh, okay, the Iron Mail is worse than that thing we just purified at the church. But let's take some Iron Mail for the warrior. I can buy a second one, and I'm gonna go ahead and buy a second one. And back to Sun Lumio Streets, because there's a good reason why I'm making a lot of preparations. Because now, let's speak with you, and inquire about that job. With my overflowing wisdom, and by that I mean 2 out of 5 wisdom, but it's still better than nothing.
Yes.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Brigitta. I run this shop and manage trade of magic igniters. This is your first time in Grand Trad, you mentioned.
Like, third time-ish?
Then, what do you think of magic igniters?
They're not really necessary.
Well, well. You say that with such confidence. Interesting.
We already have the ability to use magic without igniters, though, so we are kind of biased in that regard.
Alright, next. Are you good at keeping secrets?
I don't like where this is going!
I'm afraid that's a secret.
But once again, Will gets to show his
Are
sass.
you trying to be funny? At least you're not short on nerve. Then, I have one last question. Do you believe in God?
That's an interesting thing to be asking somebody before they take on a job, but what's interesting is that Will doesn't have the option to outright say yes. There's an implication here that Will follows a traditional elder religion, or whatever Will believes, it's not sanctism. And that's another way that he is his own character, separate from what the player wants him to be.
Not the one everyone else does. I have my own beliefs.
And yeah, even the way that he answers it is not quite how it's phrased in the dialogue choice.
In other words, not the god of sanctism. Well, that's enough for me. Yes, I think there's potential in you. I'd like to ask you to handle an extermination mission. You're fit for the task.
As long as it's not like a person, we're probably good.
The fact is, our trade route for Igniters has been, shall we say, compromised. A local monster's apparently made the place its feeding grounds.
Okay, well, monster, that's probably fine then.
Evidence suggests its actual nest is near the place I personally checked out. I want you to go there, find it, and exterminate it.
Wait, hold on just a moment. You're asking us to handle something so important? Is that even okay?
I'm asking you precisely because it's so important. There are reasons I'd rather not bring this to the guard. I usually prefer discretion with these sorts of things anyway. Especially with groups like them. But if Grius trusts you, then I certainly can.
And it kind of works the other way around. If you trust us because Grius trusts us, then we can trust you. As much of a mouthful as that statement is.
How are you connected with Grius?
I hardly think that bears discussion right now.
I wonder if you're another of those Resistance members.
What do you think? It does seem like she could use the help, but
You will be compensated, of course, and generously. There's also the option of discounts on my stock, if that appeals.
Yeah, those are tempting, but the real reason we're doing this is both from the experience of slaying that monster and for a certain thing this will eventually unlock.
Additionally, rumor has it there's even treasure to be found at the monster nest. I'd say the potential rewards are a fair match for the risk.
The thing is, though, when she says risk, she does mean it. This dungeon is harder than the Grand Cathedral. It's not really meant to be done now, but I need to kill time until the 15th, and I can't do that in the Cathedral, so we're doing this.
I hope you've no objections to the job.
Understood.
Thank you. You're bound for Belega Corridor. It's only a short distance away from here.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing in the Traveler's Voices yesterday.
This one's important.
A bullish embargo. Yeah, that's a bit of a pun as to what we'll be fighting, and most quests that require you to slay monsters increase courage. That's why I said don't really focus on going for that in town. There are many ways that you can kill two birds with one stone, or, you know, monsters in this case, and also increase courage. And now we have access to the corridor on our map.
Goodies that might be hiding inside.
So that's a really cool aspect of this game. Several quests have their own dungeons. And unlike, say, Persona Q2, these are fully new areas.
If you don't have a way there, I'll lend you my carriage. Not the kind of trip you'll want to make on foot. You can leave the city through the large gate south of the central street. Don't die out there now.
Just remember that once you do go there, you are committed for the day. If things get too tough for you, you can head back, but it will consume your day and night. So it's recommended for efficiency that if you are going for this, you do feel confident enough to finish it in one day. But remember the informant that I mentioned yesterday? Well, they're a feature of this game that I really sincerely love. So here's the informant, the knowledgeable man.
Why?
Got intel on the monsters within the Grand Cathedral. Yeah, we could. So here's what I really like about informants. Informants are essentially access to the information that you would normally need to look up at an online walkthrough, but in the game itself. I feel like this is actually a perfect answer to the fact that these days all of this info is just online or in playthroughs like mine anyway. But this kind of means that, like normally what players would do these days is, if they're going to, say, the Belega Corridor, they'd be like, okay, let's look up what the enemies in there are weak to, what attacks they use, and so on. Like, what archetypes I should bring. But now, that information is available to in the game, by buying the information on the Ox Demon of Belega Corridor. I'm going to hold off on the Cathedral one, because we'll do that once we actually go there. So, that place basically harbors some treasure, but there's a grotesque Guptoros, a gigantic two-legged beast brandishing an axe. It hates anyone who uses a staff or mace, and will go berserk if it sees one. That means do not use the mage or healer archetypes against it. Pierce attacks are the thing that it's weak to, so the knight archetype will be useful. And you can also guard to protect yourself. The language this guy uses implies that the Guptoros has a charge attack, so guarding is very good against that. There's also a lot of Goborns. They also don't like mages and healers. And they straight up warn you, yes, it's harder than the Grand Cathedral. It's also considerably shorter though, so there's a bit of a trade-off there. And thankfully, you don't need to write this down. You have access to this from your menu at any time. And so, now that I've bought gear, we're gonna head, I think this is how you do it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I want to go to the Belega corridor. You can go to the Tradia Desert if you want, but we have no reason to go there now, so let's not waste the time.
Really?
There will be a monster hunt quest in the desert eventually, and it's best to save your exploration of it until then, just to save you on, you know, time. You can see how many days are required to reach destination. If the road there doesn't pass through an encampment, you can get there that afternoon. When you return to town, it'll be night, and you won't be able to do anything that night. So yeah, you need rest.
Let's see here. But
So there's no camp, which means we can head to this place without wasting a day on the travel. But there are some follower bonds you can only do while traveling, and that's good to know for later on.
let's see here.
Thankfully, none of those are available to us at this point, so we're not losing anything by only taking a one-day trip.
Hey, don't forget, it's your call.
Hey, don't forget, you could die! And in my original stream of this, I did this and I got completely wrecked! Because you know Atlas Games and Minotaurs!